Hey everyone, it's Eddie Andrews from Interstate Island. I'm here to answer a few questions for the table read this morning, and it's very nice to be with all of you. I'd say I primarily consider myself a songwriter, as opposed to a musician per se. I mean, I grew up playing a lot of instruments like French horn, trumpet, things like that, but I never studied piano or guitar or any of the traditional rock instruments. I eventually taught myself how to play those instruments. And I do primarily use the keyboard for things like developing chord structures. But most of the keyboard playing you hear on this record, that's sort of the pure piano type of performances, came courtesy of Vince Jones, although I do actually play a fair amount of the keyboards on the record as well. Our latest release is actually a full-length release, an album called Brave New World. It's got 11 tracks on it, and it was just released a couple of weeks ago. I would say that I'm definitely not a fiction writer. Pretty much all of what you hear are going to be actual experiences from my real life, perhaps with one small exception. But I think my favorite song from the album is the last track, which is called Love Song. And it's actually the first one that we recorded. It's about a woman I knew for a brief time, a long time ago, who was older than me and for whom I had very deep feelings. I haven't seen her since she left my life and took an extended trip to Hungary, and I never heard from her again. I never forgot about her. So that's commentary on my favorite song on the record. Well, I would say it's the freedom of expression. You know, you can write about whatever moves you in particular, and especially in today's age, you know, where you have the ability to share whatever you're creating with the world without a label gatekeeper to sort of reject something that they don't consider commercial or saleable, is incredibly liberating. That's kind of a challenging question for me to answer, because for me it was never something I consciously set out to do. You know, writing songs just kind of happened. When I was, I would say, a mid-teenager, I started getting these ideas for melodies and lyrics in my head. And I just started to develop those kind of naturally. You know, at the time, I think I started writing about a song a day because it was this new ability. And when you discover something that's new, you sort of latch onto it and you go after it. And I think a lot of those songs are probably pretty terrible back then, but it's a question of developing an art and a muscle and then just getting better and better as you start to do it. But you know, I think there does need to be an element of it needs to come to you naturally. I mean, I know that there are songwriter workshops and that type of thing, but my sense has always been that would always be a little bit too formulaic. It would almost be kind of like having AI develop songs based on rote patterns or something like that. I think that the best type of songs come to you naturally, and I think if that's something that you're feeling, you should explore it in whatever way you feel is best for you. You know, it doesn't need to follow anything that's on the radio. It doesn't need to follow what your preconceived notion of the song is. Just do what comes naturally and explore it. I mean, nowadays you can get it out there. So have at it, you know. It is on all the platforms. You know, you can find it on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. Our website is www.interstateisland.com. It's all one word. You can actually find links to all of the streaming channels. You can also, if you like the idea of downloading a record, you can do that, or you can buy a physical copy. And there's also a lot of pretty cool merchandise we did. Basically, the artwork from the record, which I thought was phenomenal too, courtesy of CLG Music and Media. Thanks, guys, for working on that. It was a fantastic job. So that's about it. Looking forward to hearing from you guys, and it was a pleasure speaking with all of you this morning. Take care.